have Derek unmute him quick, and we'll go ahead and get started with an opening statement.
Okay, guys, you know what? We had opportunities to defeat a good football team. We didn't have a chance to put ourselves, made it a one-score game, but we certainly could do better. I thought our guys competed hard. Typically, when you have a snow-covered field, that's an advantage to Wyoming. And, you know, we just couldn't make enough plays to get the job done. They're a good football team. We needed to play better, but I thought our effort of the players was good. So at this time, questions. Yep, Michael.
Craig, you know, obviously last week, 1 for 11 on third down, tonight 2 for 17. You guys only completed 4 passes. Is this something that is, you think it's schematic? Is this going to require an overhaul? How do you think the offense gets better going forward?
Well, we've got a lot of months here, and we're going to have to do a significant evaluation, obviously. And when you're down to your third-string quarterback and your second-string quarterback, that's going to have an impact. But, however, we've got to improve, and there's going to be a major off-season program to do a complete evaluation of everything we've done, and that you pointed something out there. I think there's many other things that we have to improve on, but that's certainly one of them. Other questions? Cody?
Again, the defense really stepped up. What can you say about these guys keeping you in this game all night when, like Mike said, the third downs just weren't there, but those guys just kept going out and fighting?
You know what? I thought our guys really did well because arguably I think Boise's the best offense in the conference, and, you know, they've got a lot of weapons, and so I thought our defensive guys really competed. Certainly got the ball back time and time again to our offense, and sometimes we're put in really, really tough situations after a blocked punt that looked like a touchdown. I don't think we allowed any points, so we're going to build on that. But there's things that we can certainly do better. Davis?
Craig, was there any thought of doing an onside kick there with about 4.5 minutes after the field goal?
We actually, I'll tell you what we had done there, Davis. We had a bloop. When I say a bloop, it was going to be something to lob it right behind the front line, and I think Nick just hit it a little bit. You know, we were not kicking it deep. We were not trying to kick it deep, and so that was, while it wasn't a traditional onside, it was a plan to try to you know, it was going to be tough to field the ball on the ground. So it was not what we normally would do on onside, but it was that type of play. So we were doing that. We just didn't execute it, okay? Yeah, I think, Cody, you're up next.
Now that this weird year has just come to an end, can you kind of wrap this thing in a bow, what your thoughts are about just, you know, what a bizarre year all the way around?
Well, you know, I think you're going to say that for everybody. And I'm going to talk about this. Normally I'm not in position to do an exit interview this next week, but if you guys have any interest, I'll make myself available. But I do want to make this point, and I'm going to reiterate it again. We had a plan for protocol, and I had called our conference commissioner offline, and I said, one thing you can count on is that the University of Wyoming is going to honor their commitment and show up every game. And by hook or crook, we were going to have to juggle personnel, do whatever we had to do. But if you go down that list, we were accountable for every time that we had a chance to play. We answered the bell. And that's a credit, one, to our administration by having a plan, and we put resources into it. You know, we were a real stickler. But it also is a major credit to our players that they made decisions to allow ourselves to be in every game. And so I don't want to minimize that. So, Cody, when you talk about a crazy year, yeah, I mean, we had different guys being quarantined for 14 days because they rode behind somebody in a bus, and we didn't have them. I mean, it was just one of those years, and so we'll learn from it. You know, it was the most trying year I've ever had as a coach, and and I'll talk about some more things on Monday, but I want to be real clear on that. We were accountable to the Mountain West Conference that we showed up every game. And, you know, if you look at the code of the West, it says if you make a promise, keep it. And we don't minimize that. And we made a promise. We made a commitment. I made that commitment to Commissioner Thompson by hook or crook. We were going to change positions. We were going to do whatever. But by God, the Cowboys were going to show up and answer the bell. We didn't win as many games as we needed to, but we were out there to compete. Michael.
This might be something that we talk about, early next week with the sort of season recap sort of deal. But, when we spoke over the summer, the expectations were high for this team. I know the players were really, they thought that this could be the team that did it. Given everything, do you consider this a disappointing season?
I'm going to be guarded on that because I'd like to answer that a little bit more on Monday, but yeah, I certainly am disappointed. I think you either move forward or you move back. We'll have a chance to reevaluate everything. I think you can make all kinds of irrational arguments that COVID had an impact, but I don't think you can have an encompassing, broad-brush statement that we won 2 games this year just because of COVID. There's some ownership that I have as a head football coach that I have to do better. There's things our players have to buy in to do better, and it'll be a learning experience as we move forward. Davis.
Putting Gavin in the very end, was that just leave out hurting? Was that performance based? Just looking for a spark? Or both?
No. Levi had a pretty significant hip pointer. He couldn't move. He couldn't throw, and so we made a decision. He was only going to be able to just hand off the football, and that was not going to give us a chance to win. Certainly Gavin's experience is very minimal, but even though he hadn't played very much, we felt like that gave us the best chance to win with Levi's injury. Other questions? Okay, guys, I'll go ahead. Was there another question?
Nope. Veer, go ahead. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, guys, I just want to say I'll see you on, I think it's Monday is what Tim, and normally, like I said, I'm out recruiting, but I'm not. And if you guys have some interest, I'll be more than happy to answer questions you have then. Thank you.
All right, guys, we got Ayden Eberhard here.
I have to keep this on.
Why don't you start us off, Michael?
Aiden, can you hear me?
Yep.
We spoke before the season about the expectations for this team and where you guys thought you could go. Obviously, a tough night, a tough season offensively. How would you describe what you're feeling and what the feeling the locker room is right now?
Yeah, obviously, a loss like that, we had our opportunities, especially down towards the red zone, and again, we were just kicking field goals. So, it's definitely frustrating. But at the same time, I think that we did show some flashes of what we can do on offense with a couple, big play abilities and different things like that. So I think that that's good to build on. But obviously it's frustrating because as an offense we want to put points on the board, whether field goals or touchdowns. But at the end of the day, we want to put touchdowns on the board instead of field goals. So it was big that John can come in there and kick field goals and make them just like that. But, we want to score touchdowns. And, I think looking back at the film, we're going to be able to see some things that we can improve on and kind of go from there.
Is there anything that you can point to that led to the inconsistencies on offense this season?
There's 11 players on the on the field at a time, and all 11 have to be working together. Synchronized. We got to block. We got to make the right read. We got to be able to run the route, not get caught up, see the ball, catch the ball, and then try to make a play after that. So we need all of those things to happen. We can't point to anybody, especially with it happening these last 2 games. There's obviously room for improvement and things that we can improve on.
Aiden, particularly on third down, that's been a struggle all year.
Mm-hmm.
2 of 17 tonight. You guys went 3 and out, 6 straight possessions at one point. Is there anything on that specific down, the money down, that you thought plagued you guys this season?
Again, I can't. I'm not going to put it on anyone or anything like that. It's on us as an offense. third down, like you said, it's the big money down, and that's the down that we keep drives going. We, extend the drive. We get further into the red zone, make maybe a field goal easier, or we keep putting plays together to be able to put together a scoring touchdown drive. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to do, and that's what we need to do as an offense. So, again, we're going to be looking at the film. I think, like I said, we did show some flashes this year of some big playability and plays that we can make. We just need to be able to be more consistent on that and, just build on what we see from the film.
Aiden, was this your last game at War Memorial Stadium?
No, this was not my last game at War Memorial Stadium, so I'll be back.
We got any more questions for Aiden, guys?
Yeah, I got one more, Nick. Aiden, I know you guys talked before the season about how you thought that this passing game was going to be better than it had been. I know you had the injury to Sean and Levi stepping in, but just didn't seem like outside of the Colorado State game really that you guys were consistent in that. Mm-hmm. Is that frustrating? I mean, you're a receiver. You're out there to catch passes. Is it frustrating to, be this not that productive, year in and year out, seems like?
Yeah, it's definitely tough, especially me being a receiver. I look at every ball that's thrown my way or every pass play that I got to get open and I got to make a play. So I put a lot of that on, like I said, thinking as a receiver, I put a lot of that on me. We got to be able to go out, run the route, make a guy miss, and catch the ball at the end of the day no matter what. We can worry about, yards after the catch or anything like that afterwards, but we just got to be more consistent. And you brought up the CSU game. I think that that shows that we can throw the ball. And I don't like making it a huge throw versus throw versus run or anything like that, because at the end of the day, our job as an offense is score points, and we want touchdowns. We don't want field goals. We want touchdowns. And so, I think, like I said, we just got to work on being more consistent throughout all phases of the offense to where we can, kind of put teams in different situations and be able to put together drives.
I got one more. Last December in the after the Arizona Bowl, there was just this huge amount of optimism for this team going forward. Where do you guys kind of feel right now? I know it's a long way off, but where do you guys kind of feel like?
Personally, I'm very optimistic about next year. If you look at everything that we had to go through for this year to happen, whether it's COVID, Sean going down, different things happening kind of throughout the year that kind of tosses game plans and makes them different. And I think we came together as a team. We built a brotherhood, and I think everyone has bought in at this point to the team and knowing what we're going to do. So I think everyone's very optimistic about next year. Like I said, we showed flashes this year. Obviously, 2-4, that's not where we want to be at all. And we feel as a team that we can be a lot better than that. And especially looking back at the film, there's different plays from different games that we feel we could have made, whether it be offense, defense, special teams. And so I think we can look back at that and, get ready for next year. And that starts now.
All right, any more questions, guys? All right, thanks, Aiden.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, Aiden.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, I got Easton Gibbs here. Davis, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Hey, Easton, what did you guys do to sort of limit Boise State? Because, as ineffective as you guys were offensively, you guys still had a shot there in the fourth quarter. I mean, what did you guys do to sort of slow them down that made you so effective?
I mean, I think in a game like this, with all the weather and conditions going in, we knew we had to stop the run. And in the end, I think we did a pretty good job of stopping the run, forcing them to try to throw the ball, which I couldn't get much going on. So when it came down to it, I think we won the battle up front for sure on the defensive side of the ball.
Easton, how frustrating is it for this defense to keep going out there, getting stops, making plays, and then the offense was just having a hell of a time on third down today?
I mean, that stuff will come. We just got to keep doing our job, and our whole defense just knows we got to keep going out and producing, and then eventually that's going to come around, and we all know that. And we have complete faith in our offense to go and get the job done. At this point, we just got to keep pushing forward and get ready for next year.
It was your first start tonight, I guess. You led the team in tackles. What did it feel like to be out there full-time and be the guy?
I mean, it was nice. I've worked hard to try to get an opportunity like this. To go out and just kind of play tonight meant a lot to me. I'm sure I couldn't have done it without everybody else on that defense around me, but definitely helped with Chad being back out there next to me tonight. So.
Easton, in the first game of the season, a lot of yards to Nevada. You come to this game, and you guys are in the game because of defense. Where do you think you guys made the biggest strides, and where do you think the defense can go heading into next year?
I think just as a whole defense, we would go into weeks, and that first Nevada week, I think it wasn't really a lack of effort. It was more execution. So during the weeks, during practice, we just honed in on just assignment, and from there on out, we just kind of let's just do our job, and then everything will come to us. And then looking forward to next year, I mean, we're really young still. We're gonna have a ton of depth coming back next year, so we're really excited to get to work in the offseason to come back next year and get it going again. I think we'll be pretty good.
All right, guys, we got Johnhoyland here. Cody, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
John, I guess just you've been the MVP of these last two games. What's it like kicking in conditions like this? And what can you say about this first year? As a walk-on, came out of nowhere, weren't even supposed to start against Nevada, and you have the year you had.
Yeah, I've had snow games before in high school, but not like this. The snow was just to the point where you couldn't even see the field, and that was a bit new to me, but just worked on keeping staying confident in what I can do and go to the in terms of the season, I think we've had a great season as a whole on the field goal unit for a group of guys who hasn't even had that much experience doing the positions they had. Reed's son, our long snapper, he wasn't even recruited as a long snapper. He was a linebacker and still plans to play linebacker. And then Hank Gibbs, he's a quarterback who only held a little bit in high school before he before he was focusing on quarterbacks. So for a group of guys who were put together kind of last minute, we've had an amazing season.
John, in a game like this where the offense is having its issues, how much pressure does that put on you? I know from when we've talked before, it doesn't seem like pressure is really a thing for you.
Yeah, my job kind of just comes down to coach says kick the ball and I kick it. So I don't think I'm exactly nervous for those kinds of situations because it's what I was brought in to do. But yeah, I just kind of go out there and do it.
Hey, John, could you, before there was that jump offside or the false start penalty down there, you were facing a 48-yarder and then they pulled you off and put Nick back in. Do you get in the coach's ear or anything and say, I can make that, man, give it to me?
Not really. I just try and stay humble. Coach, he's been coaching for almost 40 years, and he knows a lot more about football than I do. So I just trust what he says, and Nick ends up putting a perfect punt inside the 5, and that's what it worked out. So I'm not mad at it.
We got any more questions for John? All right, thanks, John.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, John.